Hello and welcome to Alex on Board Games, and this is Too Old, Too New for November 2025, a series of videos where I talk about 4 games that I've played in a particular month, 4 games that I've really enjoyed, 2 of them being older games that I might have played a number of times before, because we spend too much time in this hobby looking at the new games that are new to everyone, and sometimes we forget to celebrate the games that we love playing over and over again with friends, with family, on our own, or whatever. But then also to new games, not necessarily new games in the industry, but new games to me. So that is Too Old, Too New. I like to crack on with these videos. If you are enjoying this or would like to follow me, please do subscribe. If you have played these games or have any opinions on these games, please do tell me about that in the comments. And if you want to buy these games, please do check out your friendly local gaming store. For me, Chaos Cards in the south of England. But for you guys, wherever it is, find yourself a gaming store and have fun. Now, the first game, which is a game that I've played for the first time, a style of game that I've played for the first time, is Exit the Game. Exit the Game. Here I have a kind of like an example box here, and the one I played was The Cemetery of the Night. As far as I can see, there are 2 main escape room games that are available on the market: Exit the Game and Unlock the series. Now, they work very differently. Unlock the series, there's 3 different in a box, and they're just card based and you can reuse them, give them to other people. Whereas Exit the Games, The Cemetery of the Night, and other examples, this one in particular released in 2020, and as far as I'm aware, they're all designs by Inca and Marcus Brand. I might be wrong, but every one I looked at had the same designers. These ones are different because they can only be played once, because as you go through the game, you chop up cards, you might have to rip things up, you might have to fold things to put things in, look in various places in and around the box to do stuff. So it means once you've played it, it can't be played by someone else. They're one-time play. So what is this? It is effectively a series of cards, and it gives you a clue. You go into a clue and it opens up a puzzle. You have to solve that puzzle to get a code, and when you get that code, you put that code into a kind of like a little mechanism, and it gives you a number. You turn over the correct card number and it says, correct, you solved that code, you solved that clue, which has got you to the next part of the puzzle. You have an hour or so to complete the entire game as if you were in a normal escape room to try and work out what happened here. In this example, the Cemetery of the Night, we had to try and break into a tomb to do some stuff. But I don't want to give too much away in case you haven't played this one or want to play them, so I'm not going to go into detail on this particular one. But what there's a series of clues as well. If you get stuck, you can ask for a clue to help you get towards an answer, and then it gives you a score at the end. Say, if you did it in this amount of time and use this number of extra clues, this is the number of stars you got. These are really great games. I think more people should certainly play these. I don't know how popular they are within it, but I know there's a large number of them, so they clearly are doing well. And I think Escape the Game has a calendar, and a lot of people do the calendar. I did this with another person. I think this is best as a collaborative effort, because even if sometimes you just need someone else to say something, and you go, oh, but that makes me think this. Having that sound, or allowing you to verbally process. You're looking at a card, you're going, I can't quite see, but maybe the path is over here. If you said that in your head, you might not have twigged something, but as you say it out loud, maybe that path over here leads to this over here, and that verbal processing can give you clues. It took us over an hour to do this first one that we've done. I'd like to do more of them because now I'm better at them, and you get better at them, you kind of like understand the process and understand how to do it. See how many stars you get. I think we got 1 star out of 10. We weren't very good at it, but we enjoyed it, and that is the whole point. I love the fact that it's not just on the cards. You've got to think outside the box, maybe even use parts of the box. There's lots of different kind of like ways. You've got to look at everything to try and find where these clues could be, what directions you might have to do something, or what it might be pointing at, or are there anywhere else where a number is visible that might lead you to something. You've got to really have a think. And again, if you're in an escape room, you've got to look at everything and try and work out, is that part of the game? Is that not part of the game? You're looking at it going, is this a clue for this bit? Is this going to be maybe a clue for later on? I've got to remember that because that might become relevant later on, and then do this. And these games certainly kind of like lead you through in that kind of way where it seems like a clue, but you're like, I'm going to remember that for later. I really enjoyed it. It's just sit down at a desk. This one certainly involved scissors, cutting stuff up, making things, trying to put things together to try and work out how to solve various clues. Some of them spatial, some of them mathematical, lots of different types of clue, lots of different types of riddle to solve, and you get to an answer. And what I like about these is it follows a story. So you're kind of like going, well, what is the story here and why you're doing it? If you are someone who likes escape rooms and would like to do them at home, I think this was £10 or something like this, £11. So they're not crazy expensive, and it's a really good fun way to spend some time as a family or something that's similar. So I would highly advise people have a go at some of the Exit the Games. They come in various levels of difficulty. As you can see, this one was a level 3 out of 5. I tried a level 2 out of 5 subsequently and found that too easy. And so I don't think I'd go to that level, and I'd be trying the level 3s again, and maybe even then the levels 4 and 5. But highly recommended. I very much enjoyed it. That's Exit the Game. And now to a game that I've been playing very much for a long time. 2021 release by Matthias Rig. I don't know how to say his surname. I've probably butchered it and I apologise. This is Ark Nova. And this is obviously a game where a lot of people that play board games talk about and love Ark Nova. You are building your own zoo. And it's got this polyomino tiles where you have to build an enclosure to put an animal in before you put an animal. Those enclosures can be different shapes. You can get special enclosures for special animals, and every time you turn them over, you do it. But the key to Ark Nova is this kind of like you've got 5 possible actions, and you've got to choose which of the 5 actions you are going to do at any time. You've got build, you've got association tasks, you've got sponsorship, you've got lay animals, and you've got to get more cards to give you the opportunities. But they're not all equally powerful, and their power changes during the game. They're in a line at the bottom, a river, a cascade, whatever you want to call it, and they're like level 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So the one on the furthest left, you can only do that to a level 1 power, whereas the one on the furthest right, you can do to a level 5 power. So you say, I'm going to build to a level 5 power, but as soon as you've done it, it moves to the beginning and everything moves up 1. So every time you do an action, it becomes less powerful for the future, while everything else becomes more powerful. So trying to work out when to do certain things and how and which one. But you can't always just do your power 5 action, because sometimes you need to do the sponsorship action and it's only at a level 3 or level 4, but you need it for a reason. You might only be able to build one thing at a time, so you don't need to have a level 5 build. You could just do a level 2 build and that would still be okay and save the others. Association workers, it takes you a level 3 to work with another zoo. It takes you a level 4 to get certain cards. It takes you a level 5 to complete a conservation task. So it only needs to be at certain levels. Working out the order to do your actions is so fantastic. But the way it replicates a real zoo is brilliant. You're not just putting as many animals in your zoo. You might do, your task or your decision on how you play the game might be, how many animals can I get in my zoo and make it amazing? But you might focus more on conservation, which is all about how can I link with other zoos around the world to save certain animals? Can I have my zoo working with animals from all over the world? Can I have my zoo specialising in a certain way? Can I release certain animals into the wild? There's lots of different ways to have conservation projects, and they can be very powerful. And the reason they're powerful is because there's 2 scoring mechanisms. You score on one track for your conservation work, how many conservation things you've done and what you've done in them, and how well you did them. Did you do just one, or did you do sort of like a 5 power? But you've also got a scoring track going in the opposite direction for how many animals and what the appeal of your zoo is. How good is your zoo? How good is your zoo? And the game ends when these 2 cross. The first person to cross their 2 scoring tracks, the game ends, everyone gets one more turn or whatever, and then you can add up your scores, and how far you cross them is the win. So you might have a very low score on one, but a massive score on the other one, so they cross really well over here. But you might have a really massive score on the different one. You might do really well on conservation, but hardly have any animals in your zoo by the end, but they still cross and you can still win. So you can use different tactics. You can be massive conservation with hardly any care about animals. You can be massive on animals in the appeal of your zoo, but not do so much on conservation. And you can do a mixture of the 2 and kind of like meet in the middle. So everyone is playing a slightly different game, trying to work out. You could specialise in small animals. You could specialise in big animals. Sponsorship cards that come in might guide you. You might get extra money every time you're working, because you're sponsored by someone who works with reptiles. You might get extra money every time someone lays a reptile. You might get extra money every time someone does another thing. So having it's so asymmetric because you're all got your own specialisms and your own things you're aiming for at the same time as aiming for some group tasks as well. Really great. I think the thing that sells it most is the fact that the 5 tasks, your 5 available actions change strength depending on how and when you use them. But it's just such a great game. It's a longer game. For me, I played Wingspan for a while, and people were saying this was the next kind of game up from that, which we took on, and I've played it so many times. It's a longer game. It's a slightly more complex game. There's a lot going on, but once you kind of like get into the understanding of which of these 5 actions you're doing, it's a super game. I really recommend it. Ark Nova, super. We love Ark Nova. Right, and now a game that is new to me last month, and this is Kavango. It's a 2024 release, so it's a pretty new game in general. Matt Brown and Zara Reid. This is Kavango. I don't own Kavango. The copy I played was my mum's. My brother bought it for my mum, and we went round and played it, and we played it for the first time. And this is lovely. Again, because my mum really enjoyed Wingspan, this was a game in that kind of like genre, because it's a game, certainly a style of game that she loves. Hi Mum, by the way, if you're watching. So in Kavango, you are building your African safari area. There's an area of Africa called the Kavango kind of like nature reserve that goes across multiple countries, and you are bringing animals into that. And that is the main crux. But you've also got to run conservation in some way. You've got to make sure your area has climate crisis, and you all work together to make sure the climate is controlled. But you've also got to make sure that no one is going to come in and steal your animals. You've got to make sure you've got your fences up effectively to make sure your animals are protected, and you've got to make sure there is the correct food source available for your animals, being either other animals or the kind of like the producers, the right kind of plants, the right kind of fish, and all this kind of stuff. So you're constantly trying to work out, am I concentrating on making sure my conservation tasks and everything is okay? Am I bringing in animals? What I really like about this game is the fact that if you've got an animal and you want to keep it for later, there's an area on your board where you can save it for when you can do it. So it kind of takes away from that game of I can't take this card and then somebody else will steal it. And how would someone else steal it? Because at its heart, this is a drafting game. You have 10 cards at the beginning or 15 cards at the beginning, and you look at them, you choose one, you do whatever you're doing with it, and you pass it across to the person next to you. They choose, and then you choose one of the next set and you pass it. You know, 7 Wonders style or Sushi Go style, Sushi Go Party style, that kind of like drafting system. And it's great because it means I hope this card comes back because I'm going to take this one first. But there's various types of cards. You've got action cards, you've got producer and resource cards, and the cards change as you go. In the second round, there'll be less of the cheaper animals and more of the bigger animals that require more other animals and other producers to bring in. So as you go through, the type of animal you bring in gets bigger and bigger and bigger. This was a super game. My only complaint about this game, there's an asymmetry where you each play a character. You might be a character that is very good at making money by doing something. You might be a character that is very good at producing certain things. You might be a character, everyone's got a slightly different character. I wasn't so keen, I've got to be honest, on the asymmetry of that, because I felt they weren't particularly balanced. I didn't really get them. I wasn't in for that. I didn't really see the point in them. That's the point. Some games, you're craving some asymmetry. I didn't think I was for this one. A little bit like, I don't really feel like when I'm playing a Wingspan or something like this, I'm not sitting there going, I wish my character did it differently. We're all kind of playing the same game. So, my only thing in Kavango, and it would make no difference to the game if you just didn't have them. So next time I play, I might suggest not using them. I just think we didn't need that. But apart from that, I thought this game was great. I've seen some reviews of it. I saw the Dice Tower. They weren't so keen and they kind of panned it in different ways. But I've seen some other reviews that say it's a really comfortable, lovely game, lovely art, the way it kind of like puts your zoo together. Maybe the boards could be a bit smaller. It's quite a big table presence. But apart from that, I really loved it. This is Kavango. I do recommend it. I think I would happily play it. I will go around back to my mum's house to play again because I really enjoy it. So yes, Kavango, a new game to me that I really enjoyed. And the last game for today is Welcome to, a game that I've been playing for a long time now. 2018, Benoit Turpin. I love the name Benoit, it makes me happy. Benoit Turpin's Welcome to. I know there are multiple versions, Welcome to the Moon and Welcome to various things and expansions to this one. I just play the very basic game and really enjoy it every time. I love the fact that you can play this with one person on your own. You can play this with 99 people because you're all playing the same game, and it makes no difference how many people are playing because you're all doing the same thing and trying to complete tasks in a really interesting way. So what you do in Welcome To, you have a sheet, and on your sheet you have 3 streets. You have 3 streets, a slightly longer one, a middle one, and a slightly shorter one. And on each round, some door numbers get turned over and some actions you can do get turned over. You must choose a door number, you must choose an action. You fill in on your sheet that number on one of your doors, but they must go sequentially from 1 up to 15. You can miss some out because there's not 15 houses in that road, but they must go up in number. And the action might be to build a field, or to build a swimming pool, or to put up a fence, or to add a B to another number, to have an extra house on, different things you can do. And it's a real puzzle. And I love the fact that you're all doing the same puzzle, but it only takes you doing one small thing different to the person next to you, which means for the rest of the game, you're now completing almost a different puzzle. But at the end, you can say, I scored this number of points, and the other person says, I scored this, I scored 80, I scored 90. But you both had exactly the same opportunity. It's pure in that way. And I really like it. I really like sitting there going, but if I put this one here, I can't have any more 7s. But I really want that 7 because it fills this. Because there are some races, and the first people to get certain combinations of buildings down win extra points. So you're like, I want to race, so I want that one. But that might make it hard for me later, but is it worth it for the extra points that it's going to get me now? Everything builds up. You can upgrade the amount of points you get for every little row of 2 houses between fences, or every row of 3 houses. That might be worth doing, especially if some of the races are to get a whole bunch of 3s. You know you can bring all these things together. If you get a certain amount of fields, the fields are interesting because they're worth 2 points, 4 points, 6 points, 8 points, and then 18 points. There's a huge jump for the last field. How many? So can you get fields in one row up to that last one to get the extra big jump? Are you even going to go for that? I like the fact that because there's so much to do, some people might specialise in changing house numbers. Some people might specialise in fields. Some people might specialise in swimming pools. There's lots of different tactics and directions you can take, all to get to effectively the same result in the end, which is how I can arrange this. And you don't want to arrange it so you can't place. If you've got no gaps available and the cards come out, you start losing points by not being able to put your numbers down because it doesn't work sequentially. Don't put number 1 halfway along a line because nothing can go before it. Welcome to super game. You can play it anytime, anywhere. Makes me happy. They are the games. So my 4 games for November 2025. Exit the Game and Kavango were games I'd not played before, and I'd recommend both. I tend to only talk about games that I recommend and like playing. So I would say if you've not done an exit room in those games, or you've not played Kavango, certainly go and have a look at those, especially if you like the games that they're kind of like related to. If you like escape rooms, if you like a wingspanny type game, you've got some options. And then Ark Nova and Welcome To, games that I've been playing for a while, that I really, really, really enjoy, and would like to carry on playing and not stopping playing at any point because they are staples in my game. Ark Nova is more of a stays on the shelf and waits for people to play its game. Welcome To is in my bag. I've got a bag of smaller box games that I take with me every time I go to a games night. Welcome To is in that box because it's nice and easy, small box, stand it out, quick to teach, easy to play kind of game. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, if you enjoy listening to and talking about board games, I would love you to subscribe to the channel. I'd love you to lay some comments down. Have you played an escape room, the Exit the Game escape rooms? Have you played Ark Nova? Have you played Kavango? Have you played Welcome To? What do you think about those games? Are they in your top 10s? Are they games you'd recommend? Are they games you don't like and would tell people maybe not to try if that's because you might think they're not so good? I would love to know. And lastly, please do go and support your friendly local gaming store, Chaos Cards for me, wherever yours might be. I've had a lovely time talking to you today. My name is Alex McLeese. This is Alex on Board Games. You are all wonderful, brilliant, amazing people. Go and have a gloriously gamey day. Thank you very much.